Your mind runs you. It literally is the running mechanism of the energy that you exist within every day. And if you don't control it and set it in a particular direction, it will create its own directions. And a lot of those own directions are the ones that have been instilled in you from your childhood, from school, from the media, from your own insecurities and doubts about who you are, what you're doing, where you're going. I found now that I have to sharpen my self-talk. Before, I was very hard on myself. I used to speak to myself and worry and berate myself unconsciously. I didn't know I was doing this for so long, but I was doing it for a long time. And then I had to find a way to realize that I was even doing that, to become aware of the thoughts happening inside of me so that the thoughts could finally dissolve away. Awareness, when light meets the darkness, cannot exist. Awareness really is the greatest opportunity for change. Having said that, once you've melted more and more of that structure, the hardness in your system, whether you're a creative entrepreneur, designer, digital nomad, right? These are all roles I've played in the past. And I say they're roles, right, in who we are. But our egos like to have the roles so that we know how to pass the information we're receiving from YouTube into our brain. It's good to pause and slow down sometimes. The reason we need to pause and slow down is to notice that there's something beyond the constant chitter-chatter of the activities of our phones and our screens. Because when we're on YouTube, it's this constant bombardment of just information, data, people, information, data, people. Yes, juice, energy, yeah, more, yeah. And can we just stop just for a moment and be with ourselves to acknowledge actually what's really going on inside of ourselves? And if you're watching this video, you are likely somebody who is on some level of a journey of personal development or awareness or spiritual seeking. And so you are finding, right, moments of peace very valuable for you. So take a breath with me. That's peculiar. Who's this guy on YouTube asking me to take a breath? We need it. We need to take those moments. So talking soft to ourselves, talking hard to ourselves, like I talked to myself really hard for a very long time. And then I learned to soften myself so much where I was in this kind of surrendered place for quite a few years where I wasn't really going anywhere, but I was enjoying the beauty of joy and bliss and orgasm and love in my life. That orgasmic bliss of life, of just living, just being. But when you're just being and you're not actually moving somewhere, right, then there's a part of the masculine pole not in balance. And as a man in this world, I want a strong masculine pole. And so I really enjoyed falling into and surrendering into my feminine for a while and experiencing the fullness of my heart and the emptiness of that which is so full. And then we arrive into the balance of the feminine and masculine within. And the masculine means there has to be some level of containment and choice. Right? Containment and choice. And I thought I had found a really nice balance with my masculine and feminine until I realized that the constant chitter-chatter in my head, the movement of the thoughts that were there, reverberating from how life was revealing itself to me, was the feminine over, let's say, just being expressive. It was the feminine inside of me just being wildly expressive with the energy and the emotions of the fullness of life, that it was always overwhelming my decision making to move somewhere. And because I didn't have a strong inner voice holding the container of me, the feminine would always knock me off, push me over, always overwhelm my emotional system to the point where then then it would be too much. And so what I'm starting to do now is I'm starting to notice how I can utilize very stronger inner voices to stabilize the movement of the feminine within, so that I can have clarity in the direction I'm moving without being tripped up by the expressive feminine within. Now, the expressive feminine within is like the fullness of life, the fullness of emotion. It's like I make a decision, or somebody else around me makes a decision, it feels good, yeah, and we feel it, okay. Is that actually what I want? Am I going that direction? Is that what I'm choosing now? Like, totally different energy. Choosing life versus allowing life to be revealed. And there's a beauty in allowing a life to be revealed. Having spent years in spiritual practice and years following spiritual gurus, there's a beauty in that surrendering to that which is. And yet, when we surrender to that which is and don't have a direction that we claim, that's clear, that's powerful, that's moving, that's taken us to, even if we don't know exactly what we want to be doing or where we want to go, we can still have a sense of where we don't want to be, mirror it and go, actually, I want that thing there. We can always think forward and picture that thing and say, yes, I want that thing. It's possible. So what I'm mirroring here for you guys watching the video is to start exploring, how are you talking to yourself inside? Are you worrying about things? Are you cycling the same stories? Do you make a decision and something reverberates for a while? Or are you like stepping in and go, no, I don't want that anymore. I want this. I don't want that anymore. I want this. And in the self-help, personal development, spiritual communities, it's like we've got to talk it through, we've got to write it down, we've got to be conscious about it. And all that jazz is good for a while. But at some point, you just got to choose. You just choose what you want and claim life and say, this is going to happen now. You just choose it. You just choose it. And so what are you choosing right now? What are you choosing right now? In listening to the clarity of this video, what do you choose and claim and commit to and assert yourself in right now? And whatever that is, speak it with words. I am choosing. I am making. I've decided that, ... I know I am. This is going to be wild because I'm going to... Making that decision, speaking it firmly, right? Speaking it firmly to yourself, in the mirror if you want, right? Is where change happens. It's where change starts to happen. Ow! You know it. Instead of watching hundreds of YouTube videos in a weekend, there's a beauty in connecting with others through social media. Of course there is, because we're all learning from each other all the time. And at the same time, let's commit and make stuff happen. Peace out. See you soon.